Welcome back to the Tech Face podcast. Last time we heard how one amazing woman transitioned from HR into tech and gave lots of great advice. Did you miss it? Then don't forget to sign up with techface.ch today and don't miss any of the podcasts ever again. But today we have another inspiring guest telling her journey into tech. Today we welcome here Karina. Karina and we met a while ago at an Equality Breakfast, and she approached me because she's very supportive of female tech talent. So welcome Karina today to the podcast. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you, Priska.
Can you quickly introduce yourself a little bit and also tell us how you came to the tech industry as well?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Karina. I work at the moment at Microsoft as a customer success manager. I'm originally from Peru, living in Zurich for the last 4 years. And how I got into tech. So it's actually a long story, but basically I've been attracted to technology for a long time, for a very long time. I think tech is doing a lot in terms of innovating and giving access to people to things that they didn't have access before. I've joined Microsoft a couple of months ago. And before joining Microsoft, I was working at VMware as a commercial manager. So the roles that I have done so far in tech are two. So customer success manager and commercial manager.
How do you feel about them? Which one do you prefer?
Yes, so it's interesting because they're both advisory roles. So whereas in my first role at VMware, I was advising account managers in how to make their deals better and how to go to customers and approach them and find a win-win deal for them. In this role as a customer success manager, I'm advising customers in terms of how to best use the technology that they have bought from Microsoft. So both roles were very interesting and really fun to do. At the moment, I'm doing the customer success role because this is something I had not done before, and there's where I can learn more.
This is something which you say it's very important for you then that you learn with your roles. Are you picking your roles in this point of view that you say, okay, I want to get further and this is why I pick a certain role, or what makes you pick a role or looking for a specific role?
Yes, so there's basically three factors in terms of my next role. But before getting into the role, I pick a company. So this is the first thing, because I think the environment, it's very important in order to make sure that I can grow. Because we can plant a seed in different territories and it will bloom in one and it will die in another. So with this principle, I'm first trying to choose the land, the environment where I can grow. And then second, I choose the role. And to your question, what are the things I'm looking for a role? So the three things would be first, impact. The second, the people I can interact with. And the third one, growth. So yes, the impact is important in terms of, can I move the needle? Can I make something happen? And can I improve people's either quality of life or empower them to get to the next level? The people that I work with is important because they can either inspire me or not.
Yeah.
And the growth for sure, because this is what drives me every day.
It's very interesting. It's seldom that I hear that people look first for the companies or choose the company before they select a specific role. So what is your approach when you say you look for a company first? How do you get to this point where you say, okay, this is the company I would like to work for?
So I think everybody's talking about culture and company culture, and our company is the best, and we care about sustainability and we care about diversity. I think it's not what it says on the paper, but it is the people who make the culture. And this starts with the CEO or the founders, and it goes all the way to the agents, to everyone in the company. If it's a large multinational or if it's a startup, I think every single person acts differently in a different company based on the guidance they're getting from their leaders and from the people around them. So to give you an example, I worked 10 years at DHL. It's the largest express provider in the world. It's the most international company in the world. and it's a great company. But I felt a different culture working in San Francisco versus working in Fort Lauderdale versus Lima versus Brussels and Zurich. And this enabled me to take different opportunities in the different locations.
And that was all for the same company, but 5 different culture in the same company.
Yes, all of them had a different micro CIO, like a divisional CEO, sorry. But yes, I'm looking first for the environment, for the culture, and not just to read from the reports or what they say, but by talking to the employees and seeing how they experience that.
That's a very good advice. So, how did you reach out to the employees? Did you reach out to them while you were in the process of interviewing, or was it even before?
Before,
Okay.
so for both companies, when I was considering VMware, I knew it already because I had a good friend working in their headquarters in the United States. And she had told me a lot of very good things about the company and how she really liked it and how it was a great place. This is why it was shortlisted in one of the few companies I thought about working on. And once the opportunity came, then I thought, okay, now I have a role inside of a company. So I want to also understand the role. Then I approached somebody on LinkedIn who had exactly the same title that I wanted to have. And I asked him for a call. And I asked him, tell me more about the culture.
And this person was open then to talk to you?
Yes.
Perfect. That's good to hear. This is an advice we give our listeners as well. So if they feel they would like to work in a certain company or certain role, that they should reach out to employees. And it's great to hear that employees are really open to talk about what they are doing and giving advice. So what makes you then love to work in the tech industry? So you could have chosen any kind of industry, but what is it that makes you go to work when you talk about tech?
So basically, it's about the possibility, the potential that we have to empower other people. So I think technology in the last few years, the advancement that we have made has improved the quality of life of so many people. And not just you and I who are able now to have a conversation being in different places through technology, but also people who are perhaps blind or have a hearing impairment. So people with who normally do not have access to, to things that others have now have access. So people who are blind can now listen to books via audio. So this is what really drives me, and this is why I chose tech, because I thought if I'm in an industry that can make an impact, but not just make an impact, but make it fast, because it's a very fast-paced industry, and that's what I really like.
Absolutely. I fully agree to that. And I must say, I see the improvement as well. And I think the speed of improvement is increasing as well, or the speed of development. So, from your point of view, where do you see the future of tech? What do you think is going to happen with the tech industry?
I think tech will continue to move at even faster speeds. It's crazy because working in tech, it feels like 1 week is 2 months in another industry. It's really that fast, and everyone is so driven and empowered that we can actually make things happen at a much faster pace. So I think in the future, we will continue to empower others. We will make things possible that at the moment are not possible. And we will continue to give opportunities to others and empower other people, people who are living at the moment in countries where the access to services or to products is not that easy. They will have this access. So I think it's a bright future.
It's very bright. That's true. You just mentioned that tech helps to empower others. When you look at your career in the tech industry and also in the different role you had, what would you recommend our listeners to empower them to get into a specific role? What is the advice you give away?
So I think I could share how I made the switch and why I made the switch. And then this will lead into the message, right? So basically tech has been a dream for me for the longest time. I wanted to get into tech, but it always seemed to be a dream, and that's what it is, right? And dreams don't come true just like that. So at one point, I thought, okay, I have to make a decision. Is this really what I want to do? And is it something I want to pursue? I have to turn it from a dream to a goal. And I have to put a plan in place and I have to put actions in place. And I thought, why haven't I applied for a tech job in 10 years if this is something I've always wanted to do? Why haven't I taken the step? And it was based on beliefs I
Hmm.
had. And this would be the advice I give. The beliefs I had were many, and it was interesting because they were proven wrong. The first belief I had, because I had just moved into Switzerland and I'm a foreigner, so I thought, well, I do not have experience in the industry. And in Switzerland, everyone told me, well, if you are in banking, you stay in banking. If you're in pharma, you stay in pharma. We don't change.
Hmm.
This is our culture, right?
Hmm.
So, and I decided to buy into that belief. And I thought, okay, I have to stay in logistics. So that was my first belief. My other belief was I don't really speak German. I'm a foreigner. So when applying next to a Swiss or a German or somebody who has better skills or is European, I may not have such a high chance. My other belief was, oh, I'm a woman and tech is a male dominated industry. So if I'm applying, I may not have a chance.
Hmm.
So, and these beliefs are very easy to believe because we can say, yeah, sure, makes
Hmm.
sense. But what I didn't realize is that these were actually strengths because not having experience in the industry meant I could bring insights from other industries. And this is what I pitched when I positioned myself in these tech companies.
Hmm.
So, okay, I haven't had experience working at Google and Salesforce and all these companies. However, I can bring a different mindset and transferable skills of how people do business in other industries. So they like that. The fact that I did not speak German was a strength, not because I did not speak it, but because I actually spoke it better than I thought I did. So people started to tell me in the interviews, they would be in German, and then all of a sudden they would be like, hey, you, for being 2, 3 years here in Switzerland, you speak better than most people who have been here for 10, 20 years. And you must be smart. So I
Hmm.
thought, wow, so this is actually strength. The
Hmm.
fact that I took the time to learn the language. And the last one, being a woman, being a disadvantage, is actually an advantage. Now in tech, we start to realize, oh, okay, maybe having 80%, 90% male employees is not going to give us the best results. So my advice would be think about what beliefs you have and challenge them and go for it because it may be that the people on the other side of the table interviewing you can see them differently.
Absolutely. I'm very glad you give us this advice because this is exactly how I feel as well, that we shouldn't see anything as a disadvantage, but start bringing up advantages of our strengths, beliefs, what we have, and turn them around and be more courageous about going for it. So I'm very glad you brought that up. Finally, just a couple of questions where I would like to get you to have a quick answer. So the first one is, who is your favorite female role model?
Well, I have a lot of role models, but if I would have to choose one, it wouldn't
Hmm.
be a female, unfortunately. It's Adam Grant. He's a professor at Wharton University, and the way he leads his life is based on his own research in terms of giving versus taking and approaching every interaction with others in terms of thinking, how can I help this person or how can I contribute to this person's success rather than how can he or she help me.
What is your most important skill?
Um, I think it would have to be the relationships with people, being able to approach people from any background, virtually any background or any position.
And the last one, what was the best advice that was given to you?
Yes, so maybe about 10 years ago, one of my bosses was giving me feedback on my performance and how I could do better. She told me feedback is the breakfast of champions. This advice has helped me because every time I'm looking for feedback, I'm like, hey, give me some more information or how I did or can I do better? And I think that was the best advice in terms of feedback is not judging you, it's actually gonna fuel your future success.
Perfect. Thank you very much for this. This was a great advice you got, and I hope we can give it away as well as advice to our listener. It was a great pleasure for me to have you in this podcast. Thanks a lot for sharing all your insights and your time. And yeah, I hope we'll keep hearing from you and from your success stories as well. Thank you very
Thank you.
much, Karina.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in today and listening to this inspiring talk on TechFace podcast. Want to be the first to know about the next episode or get first-hand access to our events? Join TechFace and sign up today on techface.ch. As a new member, you will get a free career coaching call and will always be the first to know about exciting events, news and insights. We look forward to welcoming you as our valued member.